Hello everyone, this is Bill. I just wanted to make a video here where I get to basically introduce my character of All-American Girl to everyone who doesn't know her already. She already has some fans, so that's really cool. Basically, when she was created, my writing partner Dale, and myself basically had a line going of creating characters, and she was the very first one off the line. And I had come up with her visual appearance, her costume and her power set, and just turned her over to Dale like, hey, what do you think? I was kind of thinking he'd be like, it needs more work or something like that, but he ended up really liking it. He named her All-American Girl, and he also gave her real name, Alana Charles. And I know she named after someone, but I forget who. It's a writer thing, so that's kind of lost to history, unfortunately. Dale unfortunately died a few years back from pancreatic cancer, so he's not around for me to ask, unfortunately. But he did give me his blessings about moving forward and doing whatever I wanted with the characters. And so you'll be seeing his name in the credits of any of the graphic novels that I do, so that way when you see his name, you know who he is. Anyway, back on topic here. She is a telekinetic, so her abilities are all in her mind. Telekinesis is when you can move things with your mind. That is not mind reading, that's telepathy. It always drives me crazy when people get those mixed up. But she uses her powers to make it look as if she has superhuman strength and can fly and is bulletproof to a degree. So if she picks a small car up over her head, she's actually using her telekinesis to do that. Physically, she's just going through the motions of doing the physical acts. And when she flies, she's just using her telekinesis to basically fling herself through the air. And when she's bulletproof, the only time you see her force field around herself, or her telekinetic field, is when a bullet would hit it. You just briefly would see the field around her. I just thought that'd be an interesting thing, because usually characters of telekinesis are more of the type like Jean Grey, who will just have her fingers on her head while something's moving around her. So I thought this would be more interesting, because it would make All-American Girl more physical, kind of more aggressive, chasing something down. I've always liked patriotic characters. Characters, like Captain America is probably the most famous of the patriotic superheroes, especially nowadays with the movies and everything. There's over in the UK, you got Union Jack, who represents the working class man, and then you have Captain Britain, who in turn represents the aristocracy side of things there. And by the way, I still think Captain Britain is one of the coolest looking costumes of all time. So I got to give kudos to Alan Davis on that design. It just looks really cool. And then you got someone like Guardian from Alpha Flight, who is a Canadian group of superheroes. And kudos to John Byrne on the design of his costume, because Guardian looks really cool, like the Canadian flag, I'm not even Canadian, but I feel like I should salute him if he were to walk by. But anyway, so I've always liked those characters. If nothing else, they all look really cool, and you know what they stand for. And when it came time to create a patriotic character, of course, they happened to be the first one right off the assembly line, as I mentioned. And I wanted to make her young because, you got that youthful idealism, and, the world hasn't beaten that out of them yet, like the rest of us adults understand. So when I think of teenage superheroines, the first one that popped in my head was Kitty Pryde, or aka Shadow Cat, specifically from her time when she was in Excalibur, which would have been the late 80s, into the 90s. And Excalibur is a spin-off of the X-Men, for anyone who doesn't know. A very good book, by the way. The beginning of it was written by Chris Claremont, and all the great issues are drawn by Alan Davis, and he even wrote it later on too, so definitely worth a check out. But anyway, I had briefly considered All-American Girl being a blonde. I figured it was kind of like the American stereotype, but I thought of Shadowcat, and she has brown hair, and so that's why I changed All American Girl to having brown hair, and so it's kind of in honor of Shadowcat in a way. And All American Girl quickly became much more than just Shadowcat dressed in Captain America's uniform, which is good. You understand on her own, of course. And let me see. I'll just do a little quick freestyling about her here. She comes from a nice family. Her father's dead. He was in the military. He died when she was around like 2 or 3, something like that. I mean, she was young when it happened. So she grew up with her mother taking care of her. Her mother is a nurse, and her mother does know that she's a superhero. That's not a secret. I actually wanted it to be a secret, but Dale talked me out of that because he thought it might make Alana look bad if she was keeping a secret from her mom, like I'm really a superhero. And so, when you're working creatively with someone, you'll occasionally run into some fights, and you have to figure which hill you're going to fight and die on, you know what I mean? And I figured, like, he had good logic, so I wasn't going to fight it. And now, like, a few years later, like, I'm glad that I listened to him because I think he was right. So he made the right call on that one. So she has a good relationship with her mom, and I think that was kind of important in just establishing All American Girl, like her personality and everything. She's well adjusted. She's not angsty or anything like that. And in fact, I wrote and drew a story of her in, what did it appear in? Ages of Wonder, issue 1. And I wanted to explain who she was. And I'll put the panels up on here. But it's just a sequence of 3 panels, and I just have her sort of self-narrating what she stands for. And I really liked how that turned out, at least the dialogue. I don't like the art anymore. I mean, I can draw a lot better than that now. So I could do it a lot better now, but I would keep the dialogue the same because I think it really kind of hit the nails on the head with her as far as who she is and what she stands for. She's not dark, she's not scary, she's not vengeance driven, anything like that. She wants to help people. When you get right down to it, that's what she wants to do, and that's what she strives to always do. And I think it's important that we have characters like that nowadays. I mean, probably especially nowadays. She doesn't doubt herself. She doesn't think that, there has to be a better way or something. She would never condone extreme behavior. She would never kill someone that she was fighting, So we really need characters like that now for so many reasons. And, I established some villains for her. I should say we, Dale and myself, had established villains for her. Probably the biggest one, literally, would be the crazy robot, the Silver Hammer is what he's called, and he really took it to her because physically, he's a big, powerful robot, and so she had to really kind of figure out a way to defeat him, which she did by basically ripping his head off, which is a fun scene to draw for me. I'm a big Transformers fan. I grew up with the Transformers, and so I kind of felt bad for the robot in that scene. My love of the Transformers are kind of like, don't mistreat robots like that. But she wouldn't kill like a human opponent, but she doesn't have any problems about destroying a robot. So I don't know, would that make her robophobic or something like that? Anyway, then she has another enemy called Whisper, who is an assassin who she fought in Ages of Wonder issue 3, and that ended really bad for her. Whisper ended up winning that one, and they're going to have a rematch coming up. If all goes well, God willing, that the first graphic novel here gets funded, and the second one, and the third one, they are scheduled for a rematch. And there's some interesting revelations I have about Whisper, and All American Girl will have a chance to kind of avenge herself there. and there's going to be a third person involved in that I can't discuss at this time for some spoiler reasons. But that'll be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that book 3 because I really want to get to that story. Let me see here. Alana, in her civilian identity, she attends college. She's going to school for American Sign Language, and she has the intention of being an interpreter down the road. And I just chose that kind of arbitrarily, just because I always wanted to learn sign language myself. I always thought that'd be something cool to know. But then I had to kind of learn a little bit of it, just to draw some panels of her like doing sign language. And I'm sitting here doing it with my hands, but you can't see what I'm doing, so never mind. But so occasionally, I get to draw her at college, in a class or something, or making a comment how she's late on a homework assignment or something like that. I always like characters who have unusual, quote unquote, unusual jobs. That way it just makes them seem more interesting. And it seems that it kind of gives them a little more free time to be a superhero. Now, I don't even know if that's true, because who knows what the jobs are like. But it just seems like it would work. Like if she was an interpreter, she would have some spare time. So it's just fun to play with. And I've gotten lots of compliments on her costume. It seems like everybody likes it, so I guess I did a good job. I try to be humble. I don't like to brag or anything, because I feel like I jinx myself if I do that. But I've been asked, like, if I had the intention of making an action figure of her at some point. I've actually been asked that a few times now. And the answer is yes, I would love to make an action figure of her. Actually, I'd love to make action figures of all my characters, but she would definitely be the first one. And I did design a winter version of her outfit, which I'll put the panels up here. And I designed that on purpose with the intent that it would be an action figure variant. Excuse me. It'd be a quick action figure variant that could be made with just some paint applications and a new head swap. So, again, God willing, maybe I could do an All-American Girl action figure and then do the winter costume variant. I mean, that'd be totally awesome. I could design the box art and everything, be totally rad. But anyway, I guess that's her in a nutshell. She has a sizable role to play in book 1, which is called Left Far Behind. And you get to see her. She's the youngest of the Super Gals. She's 19 as her chronological age, but she is one of the 5 founding members. And in the book, you get to see her kind of be the leader of a smaller team. There's 2 others with her, and they're newer recruits. And then she gets to meet like her personal superhero idol, and then she becomes very much the 19-year-old girl that she is. Kind of, I guess, deferential or starstruck, maybe. Like she has a case of hero worship. And then later in the book, she gets to participate in the conclusion of the story. I'm trying to avoid spoilers. And she, again, because of what's going on around her, her personality kind of adapts to that situation, and she actually becomes fairly fearful. And I just have a lot of fun writing her because of that. Her personality is very open to to adapt to the situations that she's in. So she's just a lot of fun, and she's definitely my favorite character that I've created. I don't know, am I legally allowed to say that, or would that make is that like a parent saying this is my favorite child? But anyway, I really like her a lot, and I hope you will too. And please go to Indiegogo and look up the Super Gals Left Far Behind graphic novel. I'll put a link in the description below. I always wanted to say that. And if you would, get one of the tiers. I know I'm already sold out of the highest tier. It was one of a kind, and I'm already sold out of a couple of the tier under that. There's only 10, well now 8. So yeah, just take a look through. The rest are unlimited. I got a glow-in-the-dark poster. I got a holographic colors print, and then just a graphic novel. So yeah, by all means, take a look through there, and I hope that you'll like her and her teammates. And I'll do another video with one of the other characters later, and you have a good day.